It's not that so much the experience is scary. What's scary is having to deal with it in life. I first discovered I had had alien abduction experiences in 1989. It was after a series of sightings out in the Nevada desert. In the midst of having these sightings, it unlocked something in my memory. What you do to make a living and what you do to live. This is my life and my passion, going back a number of years. I was really concerned, and I didn't want people to find out. And it certainly helps when you have physical evidence, scars that appear overnight healed, and bruises and cuts and needle marks, and you have witnesses or people who are taken with you and all these kind of things that I have. Because if I didn't have those things, I would, to this day, probably really question whether any of it had happened. But it changes you, and you're forced to have to look at life differently. What does this mean? What does this mean about me and who I am? The experiences are one thing to deal with, and the thought where you think you're losing your mind. And there's a constant fear of what are other people going to think. Even now, anyone watching this, could I lose my job over it? It sounds crazy, to say I was abducted by aliens. That sounds nuts. Even with evidence, even with witnesses, because you guys aren't here to see the evidence or talk to my witnesses. There's a part of me that certainly wishes it had never happened. There's a part of me that really wants some answers. But it's really, really hard to go on with life and having to live your life knowing this has happened. It's like once you've had it happen, you can never go back.